Welcome back, everybody, to the Christian Capitalist Podcast. I'm Rich Sanders, and so glad to be joined today by Marie Romero, my friend from here in Destin, who we've known for almost 20 years. It's a beautiful day outside here in the Gulf of Mexico, and thankfully have survived Hurricane Helene. Our social media director and podcast director, Jess Ruiz, is joining us from a parking lot outside a library in Greenville, South Carolina, because her neighborhood still does not have power. So as we record this on October 1st of 2024, we're very mindful of all the people from Florida all the way up through the Carolinas who have been impacted by the hurricane, and know that our prayers are with you, as well as our ability, to the extent we can, to help you through these difficult times. Know that we are with you. But today we're talking to Marie, who is both a hard worker and a generous giver, and want to get into some of the reasons that that's the case. Because, as I mentioned, Marie and I have known each other for many years, but just have only recently started to talk about these two twin pillars of the Christian faith. So welcome to the Christian Capitalist Podcast.
Thank you for having me. I love talking about helping people and my story, because I do believe that I wouldn't be where I am, and my daughter wouldn't be where she is without God putting people in my life that helped us at the hardest points of my life, and to get to where we are, being a mother at 15 years old in ninth grade.
So let's start talking about that, right? So you're living in New York, in the state of New York.
I am. And
in high school.
I'm in ninth grade, and I found out I'm pregnant, and of course it was a shock to my mother, and she had a hard time with it, and she decided to put me into a Christian girls' home that was for single, unwed teenage mothers. And the weirdest thing, when I walked through the doors, I felt like I was supposed to be there. Wow. Something pulled me, and I couldn't explain it. And I met this girl that I'm still friends with 29 years later, because we were pregnant. I was early on. And she's like, come stay here with me. She was from New York City. I'm from upstate New York. And I was like, yeah, okay. And of course, when I got there, I was like, whoa, what did I do? Like, my friends, my family, my life, I'm 15 years old. Like, this is all new. I'm in the mountains. I'm like living in this farmhouse, and I'm just like, I just want to go home,
I'll bet. What did you think led to, because this was a couple who started Faith Haven, what do you think led them to have a farmhouse in the mountains in New York for unwed single mothers? What a calling.
I don't know. It was so established by the time I got there. We had an in-house counselor, and we had someone that was in charge of like all the building and everything that happened. They would bring in Lamaze teachers. They would bring in, we had people who'd stay with us every other weekend, so our house parents could have a break. Mm-hmm. And, they just, I don't know, it was a great setup. Like, you went down in the basement, there was all this donated food and a whole room of donated baby stuff from people that love to donate. The high school was very familiar with Faith Haven. The kids were so good to us, and so sweet and accepting, and it was something that became part of their lives, and they understood it. I mean, this town of Naples was like one stop, it was so small. And,
so you mean the high school in Naples, the kids were familiar with Faith Haven, and
yes,
a good deal.
Isn't
that great?
One high school, one elementary school. So it was that small. And, the doctors were familiar. There was my doctor and then a female doctor, and they understood, they took on us girls, they separated us. So, she took as many as she could, and he took as many as he could. And, I remember my 6-week checkup, he didn't even care about me. He was like, oh, I just want to play with my baby. I've been looking after her for this long, she's so cute, so I was just great. Like, what about me, doc? Like, I'm supposed to be your kind of check, but they were just so invested, and it was a beautiful experience. And I was like, these people don't even know us. They've never met us before. Like, they're giving their time because they lived with us, Nancy and her husband lived in the house with us, and then they got every other weekend off and even when she retired, she'd come pick me up and take me to her house.
Oh.
and hang out with me and just really got through to me and gave me the tough love that I needed. I was 9 months pregnant, scrubbing tubs, and I was sick at one point. And she's like, "Get out of bed right now." And I was like, "Nancy, I'm so sick." And she goes, "It doesn't matter. You're having a baby, and you are going to be sick with that baby, and you still got to get up and feed them." And she just gave me this, and my mom was very grateful because she's like, "I don't know if I could have. You are my baby.
Right.
Like, how could I have been that tough on you?" Right. And so I just really, at the end, she was just like, in the beginning, I really like you. And I was like, awesome. She's like, "But you actually became one of my favorite people." And, and I loved her. And it was, they gave me my crib, my car seat, all kinds of clothes. I was the first one to have a girl in a while. So they had a locked closet that had brand new stuff. But we could take any of the used stuff we wanted. So it really just got us our start. Especially, there was one girl there that was homeless.
Oh, no.
And they were helping her get a home and get on everything. And they made sure, that she was set up and had what she needed and volunteer. And I'm looking at all this and I'm like, is this what people do? Like, they just give, they just help, like, we're not their family. We're not, and I really, it changed me.
So you mentioned that, and it's amazing as you're telling the story about how these people who were so kind and generous to you didn't know you at all. Mm-hmm. But by the time you left there, they felt like family. Mm-hmm. What, when you were there, how did God come into the conversations? Did you have a Bible study or class, or was it just kind of a given? This is a Christian place.
We went to different churches every Sunday, based on who was watching us. Hmm. So if we were being watched by someone that they were part of the Zion Church, then we went to the Zion Church, or we went, and even if I couldn't attend. I had kidney stones when I was 5 months pregnant and was very sick. Boy. So I couldn't attend. So we would watch on TV. But we had to have strict diets. We had to learn how to cook. We had to, we couldn't watch certain things that they didn't feel like were beneficial to us, like certain things. And basically, we were monitored very closely. So I remember my roommate took my salt away from me, and I'm like, and she's like, "The doctor said you can have," like, so,
Check your salt.
We were not allowed to eat fast food. We were not allowed. Wow. I mean, we were very, it was very structured, like, of how we were to do things. And I remember we had dolls, and we had to listen to tapes of them crying for hours and hours on end. And, and I remember I would dress my doll, and Nancy said, "Babies don't like that, right? Like, that's, you're changing the outfits, and I know you think it's cute, but, this is not going to be a doll. It's going to be a baby," and I'm just like, and I'm like, you know what? When it was hot, my daughter was running around in a onesie. I'm like, Nancy made so much sense. I get it. I mean, she just, because she said, that's not. But the biggest thing, they definitely conditioned us to, because babies cry. And some babies cry a lot, and we had to sit there and we had to get our stuff done and carry our babies around. And I don't know what we did the first time. They felt like we didn't do it good enough, so we had to do it a second time.
Do it all over again.
Yeah. We were bored, made us do it again. And we're like, what did we do? And so the next time, we were like, no, we're going to behave ourselves. And because we were teenagers.
Sure, exactly. You're 15, 16-year-old girls in there.
Oh, yeah, wow. We were kids.
Hey, so did y'all go to that local high school while you were in Faith Haven?
Yeah.
Okay.
And, I developed great friends, and the kids gave me a baby shower. It was really cute. Like, the students actually gave me this little baby shower, and it was so sweet. And I remember when I went into labor in school, everybody was like, "Oh my gosh, the baby's coming!" And they were like timing my contractions in class.
So, you went into labor in class. That's hysterical.
I did.
Oh man! Although I'm sure it didn't feel hysterical at the time.
No, anyway, I was just like, yay. Finally, because I was so pregnant at the end, and I was so I remember my last check, I was crying, and he's like, "Not yet," and I was like, "Please, no," and he's like, I said, "I'm so done." I was all belly.
Sure.
Nothing but belly.
Well, because for everybody who's watching at home, how tall are you?
5'3".
It's all right there.
Yeah, it was just awesome. And I went, and it was exciting, and just definitely. But I miss them.
Sure. How long did you stay at Faith Haven after the baby was born?
I got to go home immediately.
Okay.
Patrice had to stay after the baby was born, and her baby had to go to her grandparents because her parents were killed. So she was raised by her grandparents, and her credits wouldn't transfer. So she had to come back. And I think that wasn't good for her or good for the baby, I feel, but like she didn't want to have to repeat the whole year. But I feel like it was a saving grace to me because she was a rock for me. And
this is your roommate?
We had the option to have our own rooms, but we were told if other people come in, which they did, that we would have other roommates. So even though there was rooms available, we roomed together. And I would wake up with nightmares, and she's like, just think about Care Bears. Like,
that's so cute.
In the middle of the night. And she's like, just think about Care Bears. But we have been able to keep in touch and see our kids grow and congratulate each other on everything. And it is definitely, I want to go see her or her see me or something, just because it's so much time that has passed. And, that's definitely a goal of mine. And
I love that.
But
so go ahead.
I was going to say, after I left, I actually would talk to girls about going there. Like, so if they had girls that were on the fence, they would call me, and I would tell them about my experience and why. So I would try to convince girls to go to Faith Haven that maybe weren't in the best situations and all the benefits to it. So I did do that for a while too.
You mean on the fence about what to do with the baby?
Well, no, to just even going to Faith Haven.
Oh, I see.
So I would try to convince other teen moms to go there and what an experience it was for me, and try to get them to come, because I kept in contact with them after. So it was definitely just, a beautiful experience for me.
And that's something. So I think I know the answer to this question, but I want to make sure everybody else does. Did you ever have to pay anything?
It was based on your income. So my mom would give a little bit, but not a ton, but they did, I think they were able to get WIC for us, like, because we were in their care and, stuff like that. And, but I know that my mom would give them a monthly donation of what she, because they said, you don't have to feed her and you don't have to do this, and, because she's going to be living with us. So that expense will be gone from you. And I'm not 100% sure, how much she gave, but she gave what she could.
I was going to say, she gave what she could.
And so did Patrice's grandparents. And, because they just, wanted us out of the situations, New York, and the dangers, and that we were in, her more so than me because of being from the city. But yeah, so, they just thought it was a safe place for us.
And all of the other things, like it sounds like the closet full of baby things and all of that was donated by others.
Yes. And I actually ran away one time when I was home visiting. So then I wasn't allowed to go home anymore for a while.
Oh, is that right?
Because I couldn't be trusted.
Yeah.
And because I just, like I said in the beginning, I was just like, oh, what did I do?
Sure.
So my punishment was I couldn't go home for Christmas.
Ooh.
Nancy made that decision. My mom really didn't want to follow through with that. And Nancy was like, no, she's, going to have to. And it was funny because we had a payphone. So if we were to call anyone, we could earn money and then use the payphone. It wasn't just accessible to, you can just make long distance calls, because back then you had to pay for long distance calls.
Right.
So, we could use a payphone to call people, and, so, but
So you worked and got paid.
Yeah, well, we would get a little allowance or, able to use the phones and stuff. And so I didn't get to go home for Christmas. And Nancy was going to be with her family. And no, they weren't going to make anybody come in because all the girls were going home. And they had me go with a family I didn't know. Wow. Total strangers.
Wow.
And stay at their house. And they took me in. Never met me, didn't know anything about me. Just that I was this pregnant teenage girl. And I remember sitting there and I was just eating the foods, and they were all doing what they were doing, and they brought me presents, and I was like, I wasn't expecting anything.
Wow.
Because I didn't, think that they would give me gifts. So they gave me presents, And I remember feeling sad for myself because,
Sure.
everyone was having Christmas with their family except for me. And she kicked. And I said, oh, that was my Christmas gift. That was the first time I was sitting in their chair. And I said, she kicked. And they were like, can we feel? Do you care? And these total strangers are like, it's a Christmas miracle. And she kicked. And that was the first time I ever felt her kick. So there was things that definitely, and I changed after that.
How did you change after that?
I became a good resident of Faith Haven. I was not being bad. I was listening, and I was taking it all in. Finally, that opened my eyes to take this time to, and I just remember Nancy was like, think about all the trouble your friends are getting into and all the things that are happening, and you're here and you're safe, and it's not about that anymore. It's about your daughter. And I have lived that since the day she was born up until, I helped her get through pharmacy school.
Yeah.
And she became the first doctor in my family.
I love that. And so, and what a beautiful experience to be with complete strangers on Christmas. And the first time the baby kicks is right there when you are just literally experiencing unconditional love. Isn't that wonderful?
It just spoke to me. Like there was just so many things, that happened that I was like, thank you. Like it just opens your eyes, and it makes you, I feel like if you open your eyes to things and you see things, like for me, I'm one of those people where I'm like, that pulled at my heartstrings. I need to help this person. I need to do something for them. I need to mother them. I need to, be there for them because they need me.
So I have to say, and this is exactly why I wanted everyone to hear your story. When I think of a teenage mom by herself on Christmas and having a moment where I would describe that as the Holy Spirit, you're saying, it just felt fantastic and that it changed you. I can't help but think of Mary. And of course, your name is Marie.
Yeah.
So how do you think about Christmas now after that experience? 29 years ago?
Oh, I'm a big Christmas person. Like
I'm not surprised.
I don't even want gifts. I pick people to sponsor Christmas for. So sometimes multiple, sometimes it just depends. If there's someone that I feel that needs, and I don't want used, I'm going to buy brand new stuff. Like I have sponsored, like bought gifts for their children so their children can have Christmas. I do it a lot because I feel that, those gifts that I received and I didn't think I was going to, it just meant so much to me as a kid, because that was my first Christmas without my family, and for my dad made Christmas huge. He loved holidays. Like that was when you can depend on him to be there. Like I said, my mother's a single mother. You could depend on him to be there because holidays were his favorite. And, so I was used to these huge Christmases with food and just, like family and seeing people that you don't get to see all the time. And so that was the first one that I missed. And, and that happened. So I'm definitely love to, if I feel there's a family in need and, I'm like, okay, what are your kids into? Like, I'm going to go and I'm going to buy bags of toys.
Your own little Toys for Tots program.
I do like to give to people I know. Like that is definitely something. I will always give to charities, but I do like to, if I see a family that needs something, I'm like, I'm going to do that. This is who I'm picking.
So between the couple that started Faith Haven and the couple that hosted you at Christmas, that's a whole lot of people who are expressing love to you without having known you. And so it sounds like that's impacted you later in life, that you meet somebody and all of a sudden they are somebody you know and you want to help.
Yeah, and it's definitely, I've had people say, we didn't think people like you existed anymore because of help, that I've provided. And I'm like, that's how I felt about those people. It's infectious. It's beautiful. It brings me joy. Like I don't understand people. Like I collect a lot of money, and sometimes people are not so nice.
Right.
And I'm just always like, okay, like
right.
What is $10-20 to you? Like to this person who's in severe need, Like you should be like, yes, that little bit is going to help somebody. That's going to do something. That's going to help them pay their bills. That's going to help them put food on the table. That's going to help them put gas in their car because they can't work or they can't, and I always tell people, I think, and this is always my thing, you got to pull on people's heartstrings. You have to tell the story. You have to say, why are you doing this? What is your reason? Why should they give to somebody?
Yeah.
It's usually quite effective. Sometimes not. Usually.
I hear that all the time in nonprofit fundraising, that people want to invest not in a new building or a new air conditioner for a church. They want to invest in a story.
Yeah.
They want to connect with people.
You have to tell.
Why do you think that is?
I think that if you get down to the heart of them and you make them understand, and maybe they you could see it in their faces. They think about it for a minute, like how fortunate they are, and if the big thing is if they were in that same position, mm-hmm. we would do the same thing for them. Mm-hmm. Or, and that be grateful. I always say be grateful you're not the one in that. You know what I'm saying? Like for me,
Sure.
It's like, I don't want to have to bury a parent. And, why should a person who's trying to bury their parent, why should they have to worry about missing a paycheck or bills? They should have time to grieve. That's one of my bigger things I collect for. Say somebody gets hurt. And they can't work. Well, that's no paycheck, and then I'm like, well, I'm grateful that I'm healthy and I'm not hurt. And, I don't want to be hurt, but I'm glad to know that if I was to be in those situations, that somebody would step up and collect for me, or even people having children. And, my passion, I baby showers.
Baby showers, that's right.
When I meet people and their parents are passed away, and that's who usually steps up, and so I like to be that person because I like to mother everyone. I'm very much of, I've been a mother since I was 15, so right. I want to mother everyone.
Part of who you are.
Yes.
Just like Mary.
Yeah, I do. I want to, I would want to protect them, and I want to help them, and I want to guide them, and sometimes they take my advice, and sometimes they don't, it just depends.
And that is the way it is with mothers.
Yeah.
And so, all right, so what did you name the baby?
Unique Monet Allen. And I did say to her, are you mad at me that I named you that because I was 15? And she said, no, I actually love my name. I was like,
that's great.
Because you hear people I've met so many people who go by their middle name
mm-hmm.
because they hate their first name. I've known a lot of people. And I'm just like, and she's like, yeah, I am unique and I love my name. So I'm like, okay.
That's
I was
fantastic.
like, dodge that bullet.
That's fantastic, exactly. So you and Unique ended up in Florida from New York.
We were in North Carolina for a while, and I was in New York. I was 19, I'd say, when I moved to North Carolina. My mom had moved there, and I moved down there with her, and she's like, there's great opportunities here, and this, and I was in Raleigh, in a big city, and then she was building a house in a very rural area, and at this point in my life, I did not know how to drive. I did not get my license till I was 27.
Oh, wow.
Didn't get my first car till I was 28. First of all, I couldn't afford it. Yeah, right. I've never received welfare. I've never gotten child support. I've never received any help. I've just worked. So, money was always tight. Yeah. And, there was times where, and I tell people this, not wanting to feel sorry for me, but, could I eat or could she eat? And she ate and I ate her scraps, because there was no money.
Yeah.
And, and it's, so,
that's hard.
I didn't drive, and I moved to this big city, and I live near NC State, and my job is really far away. And, so, because I had to work at night, because my roommate worked during the day at a bank, and she agreed to babysit my daughter for free. She wasn't in school yet, and she was 4. And so I got a job at a Sam's Club. I worked overnight, and my roommate would drop me off with my bike. And after working overnight, I would bike home in a big city at 19 years old.
Wow.
It took me 2 hours, I'd say, because that's how far it was. And I'll, and just get homeless people sleeping on benches. I just had a little box cutter on me because that was part of my uniform, and that was it for protection. And, and I look back now and I'm thinking, what was I thinking?
Exactly.
But I had to work. Right. I had to have a job. I couldn't afford daycare. And I couldn't afford a car, so I'm just like, okay, so I get a job closer to the house that was overnight, and I was this only girl on a nighttime guy crew, stocking at a Harris Teeter, pulling trucks, like stocking shelves, and literally, like, I was like, okay, and I was the youngest person and the only female.
Right.
And, I remember they'd throw me up in the top of these trucks because I was the smallest person when they would throw stuff up there and I'd have thrown down, and I'm working forklifts and pulling them, and the guys, when pallets would tip, they'd all run. I'd be the only one still holding it so that we didn't have to, it all didn't fall and break,
right.
And, the manager would be like, you guys are, punks, like you're running and letting this 19-year-old girl hold this stuff,
right.
So they always use me for the stuff because I was this little 5'3" female. And, so I did that for a while, and it was funny when we lost our assistant grocery manager, they would make me order, it was a multi-million-dollar grocery store, and that was back, way long time ago.
Right.
I was 19 years old, so it's over 20 years ago. And I would order 5,000 piece trucks, and I would have to yell at the guys because they'd be sleeping. I'm like, come on, we got to get these trucks up. Stop, and they're like, oh, this little girl trying to tell us what to do. And I'm like, but they don't trust you guys. This is why,
Right.
So, I've always just worked hard.
Well, and so let's talk about that. That obviously is the first topic of the book, hard work.
Mm-hmm.
Going back to the time at Harris Teeter, and even, frankly, taking the extraordinary effort to bike home after an all-night shift, what do you think was driving you?
My daughter. Just supporting her and, taking care of her and making sure she was fed and she was clothed. And that's how I've become such a thrifty shopper. I don't like paying full price for anything. And I help people learn how to
right. How to be thrifty shoppers.
Yes, because I'm like, wait till it's on sale, or there's a free gift card, and then so it's just I definitely become very thrifty. And, I wanted my daughter to have the best things. And, it was a joke that she was probably going to get her license before me, but she did. It was close, but she did. And, and so, because I was always scared to drive, but I was, so I would shop the clearance racks, but in the better stores, and try to get the deals because I wanted her to have nice things. And, I can't tell you how many laptops I bought her. I've never even owned a laptop. I think she had a better cell phone than me for a long time. And, because she was all in advanced classes, I had to buy $200 calculators, and I had to buy the books because the books are not included in these classes, and I've always tried to just work hard and help her. And, whether it was this recent time, her car kept breaking. So I said, well, just sell the car, put the money in your bank account, and take my car. And my husband and I shared a car for months and months and months and months. And that was difficult because we'd have to work at the same time, or he could drive a motorcycle, but if it was raining or I had to go to the fire department. So I would get up at 5:30 in the morning to take him, drop him off at the fire department, to come back, to get ready to go to work all day on doubles. And, and I was just like, whatever it takes to help her get through school, and help support. Because if your kid's going to do a doctorate program, you have to help them. There's no way they're going to make it. Nowadays, it costs too much money, and the cost of living is too high.
Sure. So you're working hard to support her. One of the concepts of the Christian capitalist is that we work hard. People work hard because we're made in God's image, and He worked hard to create all of this that we have and that we're blessed with. What do you think about that?
I 100% agree with that, and I feel that that's definitely something that drives me, because I feel that if everyone works hard and you focus on being better and doing better, and then helping people helping people get to where they need to be, then it's a good thing. You are just then. Nobody is hurting, nobody is, without, and, we can just, I know some people don't agree with helping less fortunate. They feel that it's because they choose to be there, but there's so many people, so much family, my mother, my sisters, my aunts, my uncles. And when my daughter got into pharmacy school, I made a lot of phone calls and thanked a lot of people and said, we would not be here if it was not for you.
Wow.
Like, and I know that, and I feel that the help, like, and the support, and, even my daughter spilled something in her MacBook, and I'm in the family group text, like, all right, who wants to help throw in for a MacBook? Okay, I'm in for 100, I'm in for 200, we had to go buy her a new one because, hers she needed for school, so it's definitely, just, I don't understand people who don't want to give or don't want to help people. I feel so strongly about it.
I was going to say, and you and I have talked about this many times. When someone doesn't want to give, when someone's asleep on the job, what does that make you feel like?
I feel like there will become a time where it is eye-opening for them and they'll understand it. And I know for me is like, if it's someone I know, like, I'll be there, if it comes. But I feel like I'm surrounded by a great group of people that are always willing to help each other and be there for each other. And so I haven't really run into that. And I kind of have this thing when I collect money. I'm like, okay, well, you're going through something, so we're going to let you skip this time. Like, you're going to skip.
So you do take no for an answer sometimes.
I let them skip. Like, so we're going to skip this. We're going to go ahead and we're going to say you have something going on. So and I'm going to make sure nobody asks you and no one bugs you. So you're going to skip this round, but one thing I feel like, especially at my job, is everyone knows, like, how strongly I fight to help that person that needs us. I'm going to fight for you when that time comes, and I'm going to be just as annoying, carrying around my envelope. And I'm like, okay, I'm putting your name down now. When you get some cash, I'll be expecting that,
right,
so, like, I was like, I'm going to fight just as hard for you. Just remember that.
Exactly. Well, and so in the military, and probably with your husband at the fire department, we describe in leadership training, we describe that as leading by example. Mm-hmm. First of all, let's start with Unique. Do you think that your hard work ethic had an influence on Unique?
I do, yes. I do see her wanting to help people. She definitely, because she doesn't have a lot of money yet, because she's doing a residency, so it's...
But she's working hard in the meantime, right? She went to undergrad and then pharmacy school.
Yes, and so now she's doing a residency with the VA in West Palm Beach. So it only pays around like $50,000, but it's a lot. It's like another year of school. So, she'll usually call me and say, hey, I feel like I want to help. So, and I'm like, okay, let's do it, but usually I'm financially backing it. So,
she's working hard in the meantime, even though she doesn't have.
And I'm hoping that she becomes that person. I really want her to be an alumni for her school. Her school is a wonderful, it's a BCU, like a Black university, it's like a college and it's.
And what was the school?
FAMU.
All right, FAMU. Florida A&M University.
Yes.
Okay.
And so it is it's a historical Black college, and we just fell in love with the dean and the Crestview campus, Dr. LaRose. She's amazing. Me and her had a moment. She was raised by a single father that helped support her through school.
Oh, wow.
We shared each other's stories, and we never met each other at a white coat ceremony hugging each other. And she would tell my daughter, I just love your mother. I feel a connection to her. Like, I feel like we had this same understanding of and so it was just a very great college. And I told her, I said, I really, when you make it, I really, really want you to donate to the school, and to support the school and, be that person. Because when we were at graduation, you can see all the they were like, alumni stand up, and they come to these graduations to support these kids, and they're all dressed in the colors, and so it was great. A really beautiful, it's a historical Black college, so it's an HBCU. Right. So it just was and to see all these people graduate and see them doing things and the support. And I remember the speech that the dean from Tallahassee gave at the white coat ceremony. And he said, look around here. You all didn't come from tons of means. You all, came here with barely no money in your pockets. Your parents are putting stuff on credit cards. You're here because of these people in this room.
Wow.
And it was so touching to see, because it really said something to me, because he was right about that.
Yeah.
I mean,
Unique would not have had that opportunity if you hadn't worked that hard. Right?
Yes, and she will tell you she did it. Yes, she did. She did go to the school, but like financially, I took a lot of burden off of her. Yes, to help her.
And where do you think you got that work ethic?
My mother. My mother was such a hard worker, and really took herself from being a mother of 3 at 18. She had my sister at 16, had us twins at 18. Poor thing.
Wow.
So she was, back then they made you get married, so she married my dad, but obviously they were kids. She was 16, he was 18. They're different people. It didn't work out. And, so she was a single mom of 3. And it was her who got herself off of, welfare and went to school and put herself through nursing school and worked her butt off, working nights, still works nights as a nurse. Oh no, she actually just moved shifts. So they moved her to day shift. But, she didn't mind.
And she's what, in her 50s, 60s?
60s, yeah.
60s.
Yeah. And she's still, working. And she's just like, I grew up in a clean house with a hardworking mother who cooked very healthy, just always. I mean, that cube steak was very dry, but she was just like, we always had to have a vegetable, and my twin sister was the pickiest eater in the world, so we'd hide. She hates meat, so we would eat it for her or hide it, But you can have a snack unless you ate your vegetables, and so she just she spent her days off cleaning. We've talked about this.
Yeah.
She worked her butt off, and then on her days off, she cleaned our home, and we always had nice, clean houses that we lived in. And
Marie's saying we talked about this because yesterday was an off day, like today is. And what'd you do on your off day yesterday?
Went to the gym for 2 hours and then deep cleaned my house and then cooked a healthy dinner.
Exactly. The apple falls right under the tree.
Because that's what I saw growing up. And so she just was very much like that. We would move into apartments. And she would go in there and she would fix them up and make them better than they were before. And I remember we'd move and they would charge way more rent than when we moved in because my mom, would
improved it.
Yeah, I was young, learning how to peel wallpaper off of walls, and so we always helped and did stuff, and so we definitely, it was definitely. I learned, how to do things. I mean, we didn't have a man in the house, so we did everything. I fix things myself. I do things myself because, I was raised like that.
Yeah.
So,
And that's something. And so what do you do now? Goodness, we haven't even talked about you and your work.
So I've been with AJ's Seafood and Oyster Bar for 17 years now. I feel at some point I'll stop working there, but I would miss the interaction, meeting people. I meet wonderful people. I have moments with people all the time. And, I just, a lot of times I get my regulars by telling my story of, what I went through. And, the other day, actually, a woman said to me, I feel very strongly that some good things are coming your way, like God is telling me. And I was like, that is so funny. My husband's retiring. My daughter just finished pharmacy school. I said, I'm not going to have to work as much. I was like, and I'm going to be able to do things I'm passionate about. I said, it's so funny. She's like, and she goes, I just have to hug you. I just feel so
wonderful.
strongly. And I was like, wow, that's crazy, and it's just I just meet people and I love it. So that's going to be the hardest part, I think, after leaving there is the relationships. And we are so much like a family. We bicker and fight like family. We love each other. We fiercely support each other. We get on each other's nerves, because we're with each other more than we're with our families.
We meaning the people who work at AJ's.
Yes, we are. I mean, you're with these people 5 days a week. All day long, and and it's just and it's funny. So I work with both of my sisters and my best friend from New York. So it's So it's definitely, so not only do I really work with family, I work with people that have become family.
They become your family.
Yes.
So AJ's, for those of y'all who haven't had a chance to come to Destin, Florida, AJ's is, there are multiple locations, but the one in Destin is right on the Destin Harbor. and serves seafood and is a terrific place for nightlife, although I can say I've never been there after dark because my wife Rebecca and I always took our three kids there, primarily either after going to the beach when we were vacationing from Atlanta or after church. Our church was right across the street from AJ's, so that's where we started eating crawfish on Sundays, which is the tradition during that season. So but tell everybody, what's it like and what do you do at AJ's?
So it's we're outside, so we're looking right over the harbor, and we just celebrated our 40th birthday. So we have been there for so long, and I've worked there for 17 years, but there's so many people who've been there longer than me. Like,
really?
Oh,
wow.
yes, like 20. My sister has been there for 25 years, and I do believe there's people that have been there even longer than her.
Wow.
So we've, like it's very much like a family, and we love each other, we support each other, and one of my many things that I do is I collect for employees that say have to take time off because a parent died or a grandparent died and they have to travel or they just need time, or if they get hurt and they're going to miss work, then because we don't get vacation, we don't get sick leave, we're servers, or bartenders or kitchen staff or whoever. My new passion project is we get a lot of people that come from other countries. They work for 6 months and then they leave, and I bake food or make food for them. Like, so when it's their last day, they let me know, they pick so my last one was lasagna, homemade lasagna. And I do cupcakes and I do this and that. I always acknowledge people's birthdays. I buy birthday cakes and, celebrate them. And I love baby showers. So that is definitely, I'm planning a sprinkle right now for one of our employees. And so it's definitely, we all get together. We do a potluck. We do it up at AJ's, usually off-season, weekday, easy. We don't disturb customers, And we all bring a dish we want to eat, and we celebrate together, and it's beautiful. And I'm usually I'm a little strict. I'm in charge of making sure they get everything necessity-wise off their registry. So I, help them with that, and then I collect money to make sure that the bigger items are purchased. I group people together. If you could see in my brain of my paper of who's together, and okay, you three are going to go in because this is, $150. You three or four are going to go in because this is this much, and then I was telling him I wrap all the gifts because I want them to be in theme to the baby shower because I'm a little OCD. And then people are always like, so what's my gift? I'm like, oh, you bought this, and then you pitched in on this, and you bought this, and you're in with this, you four together, and I show them and I keep track of the money and who's going with who. And I love when something goes on sale, and then I can either get refunded with the differences, or I return it and rebuy it, so that way I can, if it's $20, $30, I don't care. That's another gift. So, it's definitely something that I'm doing.
Logistics and finance. I mean, you're like a CEO of giving at AJ's.
I do, because listen, free money is free money. Like and that means another gift for the baby. And then I try to make it so they have everything for the first year. And the friends that I did it for, that both of her parents passed away, so I paid for the baby shower. She told me, "Thank you so much. We haven't had to buy almost anything other than little things here and there the first year." And with her having to cut back her work schedule, she said it just meant so much to them, because I make sure they have their walker and their high chair and their car seats and their just everything that they're going to need, the big stuff. Because
and this is all for coworkers.
Yes.
I'm sorry to interrupt. These are all for coworkers at AJ's.
It is, because everyone wants to buy clothes and everyone wants to buy the cute stuff, and I understand that, but really they need, their stroller. And they need their car seat, and they need their, walker, and they need their swing, and so they need those things like that. And it's a big purchase, So, I mean, if I was to go to we went to a friend's baby shower, and I wasn't in charge of it. So that was just easy. I just had to show up. I said, all right, I'm going to do 150. My husband's going to do 150. Which $300 gift do you want? Do you want your stroller, or do you want your owlet? And they were like, are you serious? I'm like, yes, pick. And they were like, our strollers. Okay. Wow. There you go. I was like, because it's just like knock something big off the registry, so we do that. But yes, it was definitely, it helps the parents, because I don't think they realize they're missing work. Does the mother have to go out of work?
Right, because there's no family medical leave, I wouldn't think, in many companies.
Okay.
So what's a sprinkle? I forgot to ask you earlier.
Yes, so it's a second baby shower, smaller. If we have so if there's a second baby, it's very common if someone is having a different sex child. Like, so if you had a boy the first time and then, I always suggest that people do neutral if you plan on having more neutral things. But, say you're having a girl, you want to do some girl things. We are having a second boy. So, but the baby should have some of its own stuff too. It shouldn't be everything hand-me-down. So, that's what I'm working on right now. Actually was buying all the decorations last night so I can look at them, go over them, see what I need, visualize. We're going to have a donut cart, and I'm waiting to hear back if we want a cotton candy wall yet. So I definitely think it's very good for the morale of the employees at AJ's, because we do it and we feed everyone, and we all bring food, and it's a big potluck, and it's like this beautiful thing. And it's funny because people will say to me, well, I need to do something for you. And I'm like, no, you don't. And they're like, yeah, but you do something. And I'm like, no. See, I'm now in the point of my life that I get to be the person that helps.
Right.
Just like all the people that were in my life that helped me. Now I'm in that position, and I'm like, you are not going to spend your money on me if I help because I want to help, and I'm at that point. And not that I'm saying the millions of dollars but if it's something so silly as, collecting because somebody's hurt, or collecting for this or collecting for that, just a little bit here and there. I'm always the first one to put money in. It's just, I just feel that, to help people. And that was, we were talking about in your book.
The golden rule, right?
And one thing, you can't take it with you.
Yeah. And
how much clothes and shoes and makeup and this can you buy yourself? Because I work all the time, and I make a good living, and it brings me joy to help people. It really, and I get it now. I understand now why all those people, because it's magical. It makes you feel good. Once you start doing it, it's infectious, and you just want to see people make a difference. And that, I think, is the biggest thing, and it's just I'm very passionate about it.
I can tell.
My eyes get really big, and they're like, uh-oh, her eyes are big. I'm like, and she's like, it's spinning, the wheels start spinning, and I'm just like, yes, I can help this person. I'm so excited,
Isn't that wonderful?
It's beautiful.
To be that passionate about helping people.
Yes.
And why do you think that is? Is it because you were the beneficiary?
Because of my past, yeah. Because of when you're broke and, you have nothing, and your aunt comes over with bags of groceries and goes, oh, I just, let her pick out, my daughter, she babysit for me for free. And I just let her pick out a few things at the grocery store, and fills your whole house. It's feels like $1 million because you don't have the money. You can't afford that. You don't have those means. And when somebody comes in, it's just something as a little gesture of just filling up their house. I've done that for people. I've gone into people's houses when they were going through something, and I was like, yep, I'm going shopping, and guess what? I'm like, and I think about it, make sure that's kept, covered food, so that's not non-perishable. And, my daughter was part of leadership in high school. I suggest everyone be part of that at least 1 year. We did it for 4. So we collected food. We got presents for kids that were, underprivileged and stuff. And that was one of the big things. And her to go into these houses of these people that had nothing. And she said, I didn't even realize all that I had.
Wow.
How much I had from a single mother that works and never accepted any help. And that we have what we have. And then these people have nothing, and to go in, and she definitely, like I said, it was very infectious to her too, because she did it all 4 years in high school. It was definitely one of those things, and, that she was very passionate about.
This is a leadership program at her high school?
Yeah. You go and you help the needy, you do food drives, they go in, they pick families that are in need, and then basically they support their Christmas.
Marie, as a parent, I forgot to ask you a question earlier. Do you think that giving is a skill that can be developed in children?
I do. There was things that I did with my daughter that I, whether it was taking clothes that maybe were just a little too small on her and saying, okay, we're going to gift these to someone that's less fortunate than us. And, she's like, but I really like that. And I'm like, yeah, but it doesn't fit you anymore and they need it, like handing stuff down or just even buying her a candy and say, well, now go share it with everyone. Well, but I like this. And I'm like, yes, but you can't eat all of that. And like, you should go and share and you should give and you should, like give back to people. It was just silly little things that I taught her when she was really young about being given and stuff. And I do believe that she is that person. I can see that in her. And, like, I understand that, like I said, leadership was a beautiful thing because it really was very eye-opening for her. And I do believe, I very much hope that she will be that person because she does call me and say, I feel like we should help this person. I said, okay, well, you're kind of broke, so me. I was like, that's okay. I was like,
right.
All right, who do you want me to help?
Right.
Who do you want me to buy things for?
Right.
Like, because I will sponsor anybody for Christmas or do whatever, because that is just like, I feel passionate about it, and it probably goes back to that Christmas that I had, that. So it was.
Well, I was going to ask you if you felt like that's why you're passionate about baby showers too.
Yeah. Because being a single broke mom, young and not having anything, and then, everything was hand-me-down and used. I had that old crank swing,
Sure.
You had to time it just right. But everything.
I'm much older than you. I think I swung in one of those when I was a baby.
And, and just like the silliest things, I never had a fancy stroller. I had an umbrella stroller. I used to, if I had to walk her to, someone to babysit her so I could go to McDonald's and work just to have diaper money, and literally like I would put her in a carrier on my back and walk her to, her other grandmother's house and then walk out to McDonald's after being at school all day, like it's just, like that was my life and it made me who I am.
And who you are is a spectacular person. So let's.
I try to be.
Well, and an example, a role model for others. Mothers, workers, givers, all of these things. So let me ask you then kind of our ultimate question. What does it mean to you to be a Christian capitalist?
To make people feel the way that I did when I was in their situation. To feel that there's somebody who has their back and somebody who can help them and guide them and be that person that can be there for them and have that beautiful feeling because it's so beautiful and it is very infectious and I love it. And like I said, I understand why people helped me. They saw, I was trying to do the right thing. I was raising my kid. I wasn't taking from the government, which nothing against anyone who has to do that. But, I really just wanted to make it on my own and I struggled. And, these people saw that and they saw that in me and they saw, I think, how fiercely I loved my daughter, and I just wanted to be a good mom and be good to her. And she was my everything. And, I think they saw that and they want to help me. And I see that in people and I love it. And I tell them it's the most beautiful thing, your relationship with your children and, to just so I want to help people. I want to take stress off of them. I want them to enjoy being a parent and not worry about it. We'll take care of it, like I said, if I collect money because a parent or a grandparent died, I want you to grieve. You should have the right to grieve and not worry about it. We will collect money for you and we will make sure, we know you're missing a paycheck, but take that time, and that's what I like to do for people. I like to be that, because that when I had no food in the house and struggling and my aunt came in with all those groceries, it was like, thank God. And that
Thank
really
God.
is like what it is. Like that's what
Exactly.
it is.
So do you think that I have talked with other folks about this in the podcast. Do you think that that the only person who is blessed when someone gives a gift is the recipient of the gift?
No. I love it. I feel that all my hard work and everything that I do, and I feel that it serves a good purpose. It does something for somebody. And could I go buy an expensive car, or could I go waste money on tons of it? No, I'd rather work, and I would rather help people. Like I don't, it just is who I am, like,
Yeah.
and, my husband works and I work, and we split the bills, and his money is his money and my money is my money. And he's, he likes electronics, and I like to buy things for
And you
people.
like to buy things for
And he
people.
just always says, you spend your money, you like to, give it to people.
Right.
And he's like, and I like to spend my money on dumb things. And I said, that's fine for you. I said, for me, I, feel like I'm accomplishing something beautiful, and that's, I can go buy another TV. We have too many right now. I can go buy more stuff. Like, why? But I mean, can I change something for somebody? Can I take some of that stress? Can I let them breathe easier? Can I let them sleep better? Can I let them just say,
Yeah.
and just
a moment.
Yeah.
Marie, thank you so much for telling us your story.
Of
You
course.
did a lot today. Hundreds, thousands of people are going to watch this and
I
hear
am
your
an
story
open book. I am
and
definitely
inspire
an open
them.
book. Yes.
So would you like to, we talked a little bit about this, would you like to let everybody know how to reach you on Facebook or Instagram?
Yeah, Facebook is, I only have Facebook. I don't have that.
Okay.
I'm old. I get into the Instagram and all that, Facebook old lady.
That's great. So you can look her up and we'll put it in the show notes.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Marie. God bless you. And we'll see you next time on the Christian Capitalist Podcast.